Hey everyone, welcome to What Women Want podcast. I'm Chris Hodgson, also known as Quinton James. Here today, my guest is Hope. You guys would know her as Christy Fox. So we're going to indulge in some banter today and some deep stuff. And I'm interested to really hear her side and what she has to say. Because we get on these topics a lot, don't we?
We do.
Yeah. So that's why I want you on here to spread your knowledge and awareness to people of...
Spread my knowledge?
Spread your knowledge. Well, you know, talking about spreading.
Hey.
But how are you doing today? How's everything? You're good.
Great.
Great. Yeah, still saving the world, one plastic thing at a time.
One plastic thing at a time, one dolphin at a time.
One dolphin at a time.
One whale at a time.
One whale at a time. I love it. I love it.
That's my jam.
So for people that don't know you, tell them a little bit about yourself and your experience with dappling in the adult industry to
Am I like going back?
Oh, we're going back. Yeah. So first of all, tell us about Christy Fox. Who is Christy Fox?
Well, it started, 2011?
2011?
No, 2012. I just lost my job at Nordstrom. It was like my dream job because like I had done makeup for so long and I had reached the top of like the best place you could possibly work doing makeup, and then got fired because the assistant manager of the cosmetic department didn't like me.
So that's why you got fired.
So that's why I got fired. She didn't like me because I was sleeping with the LP that she
so technically you slept your way to the top, and you was like, I have a knack for this.
No, but I got away with a lot of stuff for sure. But no, she got rid of me, and then I kind of like didn't know what I was gonna do after that.
This is what, 2011?
2012. 12. Shit, maybe 11. I don't know. It's been so long. But then I was like, I don't know what to do. And then my dad said, well, why don't you be a model, honey? Like, look at you. I was like, Dad, I don't want to be a model. It's not my jam.
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah, and then
thanks for thinking I'm pretty.
Yeah, right. And then I was like, all right, well, F it. Like, I put in pictures for Playboy to do like Playmate of like the year or the month or whatever. And I had missed the deadline, and then they said, well, we're going to present you with a different opportunity. And then there's where Playboy Live came into place.
What's Playboy Live?
It was a campsite for Playboy.
Oh.
And it didn't last long. They closed it after like a couple years. But I went to my dad. I was like, Dad, they presented me with this. What do I do? And he was like, do it. Why not? Fuck it.
Oh, shit. So your dad was like, fine.
Yeah.
Get nude on camera.
He's like, get into it. But don't do it forever.
Okay. Yeah. Fair.
10 years later, here I still am.
10 years later, here I am.
But then I started there, and it was very classy. It was like, they had a lot of like strict rules as to what you can and can't do. So, I mean, I did really well, but it was very restricted. And I kind of was like, okay, well, there's got to be more money in this somewhere.
So was this fully naked camming? Or was it?
It was, but you couldn't do like insertion or like spreading.
Okay, so it's very Playboy kind of like keep stiff clothes and poses and stuff like that.
Yeah, like you could show your boobs, but like, and you could show your front end, but you just couldn't do anything like dirty.
Okay, so if you show your front end, it'd be like clothes, this and this. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so then I noticed that like a lot of other girls were like going onto other sites, and so I was like, well, okay, well, I'm gonna go to another site and just branch off and try it, and then that's when Christy came.
So that's when Christy Fox. How did you come up with the name Christy Fox?
Okay, so I was originally Christina.
Oh, that was just Christina.
I was Christina Fox on Playboy Live. And then when I moved to Naked, I was like, well, I got to change my name because I can't drag that one into it. So then at the time, my boyfriend, his name was, both names came from him because his name is also in that name.
Oh.
I just basically shortened Christina to just Christy. And that's when she went wild.
So that 2013?
Yeah.
2013, that's when Christy Fox, 12, blossomed.
13, yeah, she said, no.
She said, hello.
She said, let's get wet and wild.
Let's get wet. So you did Cammins 2012. Christy Fox was born.
Yeah.
And then you did camming for a long time, right? Just camming.
Yeah.
You went from everything to full on insertion.
Wording.
Everything.
Oh, all of it. I had. Do you remember the John Holmes dildo? The like 14-incher. That's gigantic.
Oh yeah, let me pull up my ass real quick. No, I don't. 14 inches.
12, 14. John Holmes. He was like a big porn star from like the 90s.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah. I know I had a 14-inch schlonger on him.
It might be 12, but either way, it was gigantic.
It's just 12. You know,
and
it's
it
fine.
was so girthy. Like it was like.
So you had one of those? That was your main attraction?
Yeah, people, and then I had that like hand.
You had the hand thing?
I had the hand.
Did you put it in your butt? Oh, there we go.
I did things. Let me tell you. I was like.
I think it was a different day and age of 2012, 13, 14, 15, like
15, 16.
17, yeah.
And so I did everything. And then I was bouncing on so many different campsites just to try everything.
Yeah.
And I would do well at every single one of them. But then I hated kind of like keeping up with all that. So I was just like, I'm just going to designate to one. So then I was just on one. And then that one kind of died down and kind of died out, and then someone bought them, so like things changed. So then I bounced to another one, and then now I'm set at the one that I'm currently at, and I love it there.
So you've never done, obviously other than OnlyFans, but you've never been on a porn set.
No.
So this is where it's interesting to do, because you've done camming, but you've never been on a porn set to actually be paid to have sex with a boy girl or a girl. It's always been by yourself, always been solo. I
never wanted to branch out to the mainstream side of it. One, because of my family and them knowing. Other than my dad. My dad has always been supportive.
Did they know that you cam? Did they know that you cam? They're going to know now. They're going to know now.
Well, no, they know now.
Okay, I was going to say.
They didn't know for a long time.
Okay.
And then, but my dad knew.
Yeah.
And then my dad told me, don't you tell your mother. And I was like...
This is the weird way around. It's never like, don't tell your daughter, but don't tell your father.
Yeah, no, this is the reverse. Don't tell your mother. And I was like, no, if my mom finds out, I'm dead. Like, there's no way. And so then she didn't know for a long time, but like, who knows if she didn't actually know, because like moms know everything.
Yeah. She probably had an inkling, and maybe she didn't say anything.
Yeah. And she knew, I mean, she knows when I'm lying. So when she's like, I'm going to do it. Where are
You're a bad liar.
I was like, my boyfriend's taking care of everything.
Yeah, I'm working. I'm a cocktail waitress.
And, I played that one too.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was also I got back into working at the nightclubs, because I worked there when I was 21, and then I quit, but then I got back into it. So then I played that whole thing with her, and I was like, no, I'm back at working at the nightclub.
And she's like, okay, sweetie. Yeah. Thinking, shame.
Yeah.
Did you ever feel shame doing it because your parents didn't know? Your mom didn't know? Did you ever feel guilty?
No.
Okay.
No. No, I didn't feel guilty because it was doing well for me. Yeah. So, but I think like with how I was raised in such a like Mexican Catholic home.
So he was raised in a Mexican Catholic home. Okay.
Yeah. So that kind of work is shameful. It's dirty. It's gross. It's, so if I was like, oh man, if she finds that out, like she's going to think so less of me. But when she did find out, she didn't think less of me, but she was still like,
It wasn't that like, oh, I hate you. It's like, I'm disappointed.
Yes.
It's the worst, isn't it? When they're just like, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed.
But you know what though? My dad said things to me, and they really kind of still stick with me now, because he was like, honey, you're an adult. You live your life for you. You don't live your life for your mother or your family and all that. So you're an adult now. You do what you want and what you think is best. And, they'll either love you and support you or they won't. And that's their problem, not yours, because they're not paying your bills. You're paying your bills.
Yeah.
So, and I never had to ask anybody to help me ever. So, I was like, oh, Dad, you're right. Okay.
And that was when did they find out your mom and family? Was it a little while ago?
It was 2018. 18.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was already like doing it for a while.
You're like, I've been doing this for like 6 years. So
Yeah, no big deal. But then, and then when she found out, it was kind of it was a shit show. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she found out from my uncle.
Oh.
Which was
a little weird.
Yeah. Majorly weird. Yeah. And what's funny is like my dad's friends knew and found me online. And they would always make comments to him. And then my dad was like, honey, are you going to quit anytime soon? And I'm like, no, Dad. And he goes,
oh, because of the comments?
Yeah, because people would be like, your daughter's so hot. He's like, don't talk to me about that.
Glad I have a boy, not a girl. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, no, yeah. But so then that's when Christy came. And then now I'm like trying to get away from that name.
Trying to get back to hope.
Yeah. Just because, that name was built off a person. And
but that's what we are. It's like we build, even doing this, like whether you're porn or you're any sex work. I mean, Cam, and you have to build a persona to protect your identity, right? But then later in life, you're like, I want to go back to my identity.
Yeah.
Did you feel that when you was Cam and you changed from Hope to Christy Fox, like, or you still was like, this is still me? No, I'm just a name.
I never changed into a different personality, but it was always very much my character and my personality. But definitely certain things I had to keep hidden or
for sure.
like not talk about. But
you got to keep that fantasy, you know what I mean, to people. You know.
Well, and I think it worked because like being myself, like people then like started coming to my shows just to talk and like hang out, and then I didn't have to do anything. Still to this day, I don't have to do anything, and I can just sit there
and talk
and lip sync with my dildos, and like everyone just loves it. They're just like,
when you know you've made it, you lip sync with the dildos and don't have to take any clothes off.
Yeah, literally. That's like all I do now.
You got that one person be like, "Shut up! Where's your vagina?"
Like the people that don't have the money to tip are those ones, but like everybody else, like I will just like roll in the money, just lip syncing.
But isn't it interesting how people can? There's a lack of conversation, lack of communication now. People just would like to sit there and be like, "Oh, I just enjoy listening to you talk," and we're talking because a lot of people I don't think get to talk to people anymore.
Well, I think it's also what I've noticed throughout the years is a lot of the people that come to campsites really go there just for conversation because if they can't get it in real life talking to a pretty girl, then they want to go talk to a pretty girl online because like that pretty girl can't see what they look like, so then they're giving that attention.
So they're still engaged to whatever comments they're doing and your response to the comments that they type.
Yeah, so I think they just kind of go there for that like companion friendship to talk to a pretty girl versus like just beat their meat and get off and go to the next.
That makes a lot of sense because a lot of people that are outside of it think that that's what people do. Go to a campsite, I want you to strip, I want to beat my meat, and then it's done. But I guess you're right. You know, with the conversation thing, I mean, a lot of people get lonely, I guess, or they can't have the outlet. So even just talking to a pretty girl, they might never get to talk to them. But just even them typing something, you'd be like, "Oh, John, like whatever it is," and they're like, "Oh, they acknowledged me." Like it's just a validation for that person.
That's kind of where it all
kind of where it is.
Yeah, it's like if I think about it, like okay, I love Henry Cavill, right? If I had the chance just to pick his brain and talk to him,
you watching Henry? Okay.
If I could pick his brain and talk to him, that would make my day. Yeah. Like, versus me being like, whip your dick out, jerk it.
What if you did that?
Like, then? I mean,
you'd be like,
I wouldn't be upset.
You're not gonna be like, put it away, kidding.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't be upset. But like, it's just like you find those people that you like really, really like and enjoy, and all you want to do is just talk to them and get to know them, and like. That's kind of what people come to camp for, really. Like,
see, that's just weird because I didn't really think of it like that. Even myself, like I just thought the same typical, oh yeah, you know, campsite there, they're going to get naked this and the guy's going to beat their meat, finish and go. Yeah. And you know what, that makes a lot of sense, actually, that people are lonely, they want conversation.
But only few girls can pull that off, though.
No, you're absolutely right, because a lot of people, and I think that's the problem with society as well. A lot of girls, and especially they don't know how to talk or don't know how to. Because if you can talk like that through a screen, you can communicate in a lot of other things in life too. But if you stay hidden, like, oh no, I'm just going to take off my clothes and my body because it's easier, then you're going to get those guys that are like, okay, I'm just here for this.
And I have people, like, to this day, that will come into my stream from years ago, and they'll be like, hi, you probably don't remember me, but like you really helped me a few years back with just like my mental health or like relationships, whatever it may be. And they're like, and I just want to like thank you for that, and I really enjoy, you know, our conversations, and you're amazing, blah blah blah. And I'm like, oh shit. Well,
So you just through your conversation, you impacted that person.
Yeah.
Just with you being you.
Yeah, just me being me, and then them asking me things, and then me just like answering whatever the question may be. But yeah, I have like I have one guy who will pay for my Starbucks like every day, and I'm like, why do you want to do this? And he's like, well, you helped me a few years ago, and so I just want to pay it back.
Wow.
Like, all right, cool.
Even if they pay you back with the little things, that's very like. That's pretty awesome though that you impacted people through an industry that is so maybe looked down on as like, oh, you do this and this, but you're saying you've had a positive impact on these men that are insecure and in this, but you've made them maybe help adapt and apply things that you taught them in their own life.
Yeah, I kind of just like became a online
therapist,
literally. A little half-naked online therapist.
Half-naked online. Like, so this is welcome to lingerie therapy. So this is what we're going to do. I mean, that'd be a good business.
Not a bad idea. I might even do that later.
Lingerie therapy later. So you've been doing, so you was doing camming and everything for what? So what that was?
I mean, now it's been
10 years. 10 years. So how did that affect your relationships along the way?
Well,
Would you say looking back?
It didn't. Really? No. When I first started, I was with one boyfriend.
Yep.
And then, you know, he didn't mind it. He was like, whatever. He kind of like got off to the fact that like other guys were getting off to me without touching me. So.
But if guys were touching you, would it be different if he was like sleeping with other men?
Well, not with that one.
Okay. Not with that one. That was like, please do that.
That one was the abusive, sexual abusive one.
Okay.
So he would have loved it. The second one after that, he had already dated like I think she actually was in porn.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't make it very big, but she did do it. And then he had like a swinging lifestyle with his exes, so it wasn't anything new to him. So he was just like, yeah, I don't mind it. It's great, whatever. And then so it didn't affect any of them. And then I had my porn star boyfriend, so that didn't affect that one either. Okay. So
is there good and bad that you've taken from all these relationships while you've been doing camming? Obviously, it's an interesting side because you see a lot of people that will do camming or do porn, and it's always the opposite. Like, oh, I like you doing that. They're like, no, you can't do this. I don't want you to do this. Yeah. So I hear a lot of the opposite side, but for them to want you to do it more and more and more, did that take a mental toll on you or pressure? Or you mentioned the abusive sexual one too, like that. Did they use that of what you did to enhance their own fantasy with you?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. There was a lot of all kinds of pressure and forcing of doing things. And a lot of manipulation of doing things. And I'm just like naturally one of those people that just like whoever I'm with, I want to please them and make them happy. And so I kind of just like really shut myself down and was just like, I'll do whatever you want. Like just whatever makes you happy. But then it also got to a point because it was like so forced and like there was a lot of manipulation into that too, that I kind of like shut down my entire body, mentally, emotionally, physically, and just kind of numbed myself and then just like was just there.
You're just there.
Yeah, so I just did whatever that made that person happy.
And do you think that control that he had over you, do you think that was a way for him to make you stay as well? Or was it just what sucked you, what kept you there, and why, like, even if you shut down, was it just easy to shut down and then compartmentalize it, like that's this, and then leave it and then go there?
Well, I was also super, super heartbroken.
Okay.
Prior to him, I was with somebody who was like my soulmate, my twin flame. We were gonna get married, have kids, and like he was just like it for me. And then tragedy struck, and then that caused me to just be really like
shut off emotionally.
Shut off. Yeah. So I was almost kind of just looking for the next person that was gonna give me attention. And so I was just like, oh, he's giving me attention. Okay. And I'll just run with that one. And without actually like dealing and sitting with my feelings, but I was also really young too.
Yeah.
So
We have to learn from when you're younger to older. It's when we get older like this, we can reflect back on the things that sometimes in the moment you can't express things.
yeah.
You know there's something wrong with it and you know it's not this, but there's also the counter side of like, well, this is easy to deal with whatever I have to face.
I also didn't care about myself either.
Okay.
So I didn't care what happened to me. I didn't care what was going on. I was just trying to fill.
And was that, you didn't care what happened to you because of the pain you'd happened before in the previous relationship?
Yeah, just the heartbreak
Yeah.
of losing that person was just so awful that, like, I just didn't see. No one was going to compare to him. No one was going to, like, give me that again. But, like, whoever was going to give me attention, cool. And so I kind of was
You just
trying
needed
to fill-
something.
Yeah, and that was my fault. Like, I should have
Oh, no,
just
yeah,
never
but
done
you,
that.
no, but which is perfectly fine. And it's like you became vulnerable because you was in a vulnerable spot and he probably got the perfect partner where he was like, yes, I'll do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And do you think you're,
Well, he had been watching because we worked together.
okay.
So he had been watching. He had seen me with that previous person, and I like when like looking back, I'm like, oh, you were watching, you were
Watching and waiting.
waiting, and came in at a time that you knew was really messed up for me. So it was like he knew what to say, what to do, and how to do it, and to get me there.
Yeah.
And he was smart.
So he got you in the most vulnerable spot of where you was and used the good old manipulation tactic as what people do. Because when you're most vulnerable, you're most vulnerable to be manipulated.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And he knew, like, he was in the army, did a couple of tours, and so in which later he admitted to me, and he was like, yeah, I mean, I treated you like a soldier. I knew what to do.
Wow.
I
And
was like,
he said that years later.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess he knew what he was doing, you know. I mean, is it right? Is it wrong? No, it's just he knew exactly what he was doing. It's good that he admits that he was doing.
Oh yeah.
And so you think relationships following that, do you think, so you say yourself as you're a pleaser, you want to give the man. And have you found yourself you've done that in your rest of your relationships?
Oh yeah. Because once I finally got away from that one, it was only because I was pushed into the next one.
Yeah.
So he was like, find somebody to do this with and do that, because he wanted just to see me with other people.
Yeah.
And so I met this one other person, and then that person was head over heels about me. And so he was giving me that when that previous relationship was already falling apart. So then that same pattern of, oh, here's the next person that's filling that issue or whatever. So then I immediately jumped into that one.
Yeah.
And then that person wasn't any better. So it was like, I was like, why, what is this like? Am I finding these people?
But do you think because, so you've had those relationships and obviously you're single now. So it's like from you giving yourself and basically pleasing the man.
Yeah.
So you were sacrificing your own feelings to please the man all the time.
The entire time.
And when you look back and reflect to where you are now, how do you think you've changed or are trying to change? You know what I mean?
Oh man, I mean, it took me a really long time to figure it out.
Yeah.
But I basically kind of just, like, even with my last relationship, I was also pushed into that one too. And in the same way. And so then I got pushed into that one, but that one didn't start like right away. But it was definitely an interesting dynamic, because then he was in the business and in a different way than I am in. So I had to like really navigate through.
How was that for you, knowing that being with someone that's in the business and you're not in the business, sleeping with other people, but your partner is? How did that affect you, like mentally and emotionally?
In the beginning, it didn't. It didn't. Because I was like, it's a job.
Yeah.
I get that. It's so separated from personal, and hearing his side and his like thought process on it, I was like, okay, like I am naturally a very logical person.
Yeah.
I'm not someone who like reacts through emotion. I think about shit. I will logically put it in my head, like, if it makes sense. And so I was like, oh, okay, yeah, like, it is just a job. You guys aren't there for personal stuff. Like, so I was like, it's cool. But then there were certain things with this business that were very triggering because of the past relationships.
Got it.
So it was all pretty triggering with the rest of them. So then I was like, I really like should probably sit with this and like figure out like, okay, I know that what he's doing is not like for those reasons. I'm just triggered because of people that had done X, Y, and Z, and it, you know, that wasn't for work. So I had to like kind of separate the two in my own head and like kind of just be like, okay, I'm not going to put that on this person. Yeah. This is my thing.
Was that difficult not to do though? Sometimes?
Sometimes, but
I mean, you're only human, you know, so.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes if it was correct.
If it was correct. Okay.
If it was not correct.
I mean, we still feel, and the thing is in this industry, like, you're allowed to still feel jealousy, even though it's a job for us. And like, no, it's a job. Where
I was never a jealous person.
But I mean, it's not even jealous. You still should have respect, and it's okay to feel how you feel about certain things.
Yeah.
Even doing this job, even from my standpoint, I know that if I'm with a person, it's difficult. Even though it's a job, and I'm still giving myself to other people, still giving myself to other women. Yeah. I could have amazing, passionate sex with that person, or give myself for that day and this. But it's my respect level and what I do when I come home that's going to matter, and that's going to be the backbone of whoever that person is that I'm with, to make them feel validated and secure, because I've been out with these other women. And I could be like, well, it's a job, you need to get over it and let me do this. But then that's going to just make them not feel validated.
Right.
And I think that's very difficult sometimes, even from a guy standpoint and a girl standpoint that's doing it. And I see a lot of people, you have boundaries till you don't have boundaries, you know, or you don't have boundaries till you have boundaries.
Yeah.
And boundaries are a compromise, and boundaries something you both have to communicate about.
My boundary was just don't lie.
You know,
just don't lie.
You know how hard of a boundary that is for men?
Yeah.
Even women too, but men especially.
Because my only thing.
It's okay.
Just don't lie. I don't care what you do, how you do it, what's going on, when it is, where it is. Just don't lie.
Okay, so if let's say that you don't lie. We all fuck up. Men fuck up especially. And no one's perfect. So if you're looking at the just don't lie. Because if you don't lie, then you're open to telling the truth, and the truth can cause an argument, and not the truth will set you free, but you know that no.
Because let me tell you, because if you just say the truth, then I can be like, okay, even if it hurt me then at that moment that, you know, the truth is there, then I can deal with it then and know that like it's the truth. This is what happened. Okay, I can shift and navigate through my feelings, versus if you lie and then I find about it later.
Absolutely.
Then it's like, okay, well now you just broke trust, and now I have to like question how many other times did you lie about
exactly
it? Or is this a lie? So I think if you're just truthful at the moment, then it's the truth, and you can navigate your feelings then and then and right there, versus now like
later on
losing that.
Yeah, because you lose trust. You lose trust.
So lying is just
no. I completely agree with you. And I think the hardest thing with men and women about telling the truth is there's two different sides of it. So say like I came to you with something and I was like, hey, listen, I fucked up.
Yeah.
I'm telling you now, or whatever it is.
I'd love that.
And you reacted like, okay. There's two ways you can react.
Yeah.
There's two ways you can react. You can either say in the relationship, just don't lie to me and tell me the truth.
Yeah.
But if I tell you the truth and then you go AWOL and you go mad and like, fuck you, I hate you, this.
Yeah.
I would be like, fuck that shit. I am going to lie now. But if you do it from the thing of like, I appreciate you telling me, I'm allowed to feel what I feel though.
Yeah.
Which you are. You're allowed to feel what you feel. If someone tells you the truth and you ask for the truth, you're allowed to feel what you want to feel, but you have to keep your emotions that we wear on our sleeves intact.
Communication is so huge.
Yeah.
Like it really, like, I mean, there are a lot of women that like, you know, get mad and, you know, are more emotion based and freak out and flip out and whatever. But then there are those few that like aren't like that. Like myself.
But what do you say to those women that say same thing as you, and same thing to the men, like, hey, I just want you to be honest with me, or tell me the truth.
Yeah.
What would you say to those people that flip out when they hear the truth, but they've asked for the truth? How would you say they can navigate those emotions? Because
take a timeout.
Yep.
Put yourself on a timeout. Go in the room. Sit with yourself, think about it, go through your emotions and your feelings, and then come back out. Like, to me, like, I'm also like not a drama person, and like I just don't believe in freaking out
Yeah.
and being like that.
A lot of people do. A lot of people communicate through anger and
that's
rage.
mental maturity right there.
No, I
like
agree.
women need to grow up.
But I think men need to grow up too, because I think
Oh, yeah.
it's the same. And I think I completely agree with you about telling the truth, but it's some of the most difficult things that we as people have to do, even with relationships or friends or family. Like, we all lie. I mean, everyone tells a white lie, but some people believe their own lies, and that's it. They will just lie. Maybe it's because they've been taught to lie when they grow up, or in the past relationships they've had to lie, and that's all they know. And it's very hard for them to get out of that cycle, even though they're like, just tell me the truth and it's fine.
Yeah.
But you have to show that person to let them know, like, if you do tell me the truth, it's fine. I'm validate you, even though I might not agree with it. You have to validate that person and give them things like, you told me the truth, and see, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
Now I feel the way I feel. I'm just going to need a minute, but I appreciate you telling me the truth.
I also think that the women that freak out and like go crazy about it, I think that there's probably some deeper wounds from whatever else that they have not healed, and that's why they react the way they react. So then that needs to be something, again, where they go put themselves on a timeout and go heal those little parts of them so that they're not bleeding it onto the next person and, you know, whatnot. But I think too, like, I mean, sometimes lying is better in certain circumstances.
Depending on the person, and would you agree with, in certain situations, the lie is okay?
No.
Well,
I mean, it's situational and circumstantial, but I mean, I think that like when you, like, I knew what I was going into dating a porn star.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, well, I know what I'm getting into. Am I okay with this? And am I going to be okay with this? And all these things, even given my past relationships and the traumas and the abuse and all the things that I struggled with them. But that's not his fault. That's my fault. And so that has to land on me, and I need to like figure all that out. But and I did, and I was also very vocal with stuff too. So, you know, he knew, and I, you know, and I had been saying it from the beginning. I don't care what you do, just don't lie. Yeah. And then later on, there was something that was said to me that like kind of stuck with me for a really long time, and it was in the very, very beginning of us like dating.
Isn't that funny how just words, and this is what I say, like, there's a line, there's always a respect line that you have that you don't go below, even in your most rage state to people, because once you say something, you can't unsay it. And this is what happens, you say things and it sticks.
Oh, yeah.
And you are constantly reminded of that. And then sometimes you may look at the person differently because they've said that, or every time whatever that topic is that they've said, and you come to that thing. It gives you the
ick. And you'll never be able to shake it because it was said. Yeah.
That's why they always say think before you speak. And it's very, very difficult, because when you get that rage, you go tit for tat, you go below the belt, you're like, I'm going to one-up each other.
Oh, yeah.
And what's the point? But we've all done it.
Yeah.
And we all still do it.
I don't know. I mean, I don't really do that stuff because
it's perfect. This one is
an angel.
She's an angel. She's basically saying she's the perfect specimen. So every man should just get down and marry this one.
Dude, I'd wife me.
No, but I love it. You should get a T-shirt that says that. Dude, I'd wife me.
I actually posted it on Instagram the other day. It was like it's something I found on Pinterest, and I just thought it was so funny. And it says, I don't know, but I'd wife me or something like that. And I was like, God, so
I like that. I like that thing. Dude, I'd wife me.
Yeah. But the quote that was said to me was, so in the beginning of the relationship, there was a content thing, and he lied, and I found out about it later. And during the arguments and the fights and whatnot, what was said to me that stuck with me was that I was like, well, why did you lie? And he was just like, well, I just really didn't think you were worth the truth at the time.
Ooh, I didn't. Okay. Wait, let me process that. I didn't think that you was worth the truth at that time.
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
I
So how did that make you feel, though, receiving that information? Did it mean, I obviously, I'm not worthy. You are not worth the truth at the time, so what the hell am I worth?
Right. Yeah.
So are you like, well, so does that mean I'm the person that I'm giving you this thing saying I'm an open book, you can tell the truth to me, but I'm not even worth that. I'm not even worth your time or thing.
I'm the most understanding person, the most loyal person, the most logical person, and I don't freak out. I don't lose my shit. I don't get mad easily. You have to like really dig deep to get me mad. But I can go into things with a lot of understanding. And so, and I've proven that time and time again. And so to hear that, I was just kind of like, wow.
And it's interesting because it's like,
that's kind of shady.
This is kind of going to be either give people out there more power or it's going to give them a tool to learn from. Because when you do this to people, whether it's a woman or a man, you know how to break people down in their core. And sometimes you don't know you're doing it. Sometimes we say stupid things that we don't know or don't mean or don't associate with why we're saying it. But we've said it and you can't take it back. And sometimes...
Well, actually, I feel like there is ways you can take it back. You can literally correct yourself at that time and be like, you know what?
That came out wrong.
That came out wrong. Let me rephrase that because that's not what I meant. And
because in your mind you're like, what the hell did you mean then?
Yeah. So I think if you correct things at the time that you're communicating, it goes a long way. Yeah. Instead of saying it and then, months, years later, you change it again and you're just like, no,
you can't. No, you're right. You got to.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes in massive like rage or frustration or anger, like
people say dumb things.
We all do. We all say dumb things, but it's recognizing saying those dumb things to come to a sense of reality. Be like, I don't mean that at all. That's just my emotion talking. How can I correct that? Because trust me, I've done it, and I've learned, and I've probably done the same thing where I've said stuff and not corrected myself and thought about it and be like, I shouldn't have said that. Yeah, and vice versa. Yeah. So. I think you're right. It's maturity.
Mm-hmm. Oh, maturity.
Because how old are you? Can you tell us how old you are? Are you going to say actually how old you are, or shall I not ask you?
No, it's fine. I'll be 35.
Can we get the walker, please?
I will need a hip replacement by the time I'm 40. This is a true statement.
So you will be 35 and I'm 36. So we're pretty much...
Yeah, we're right there.
Can you imagine yourself like having this conversation 10 years ago and like knowing this stuff, like the knowledge you know now?
Not to toot my own horn, but I'm the same person I am today as I was then.
Okay. I'm gonna hold you there. So you're still the same giver. So you still want to give to relationships. So
I definitely have more boundaries now.
Yeah, you have more.
For sure.
But you learn that from time. So if I asked you, like, the 5 love languages, right?
Yeah.
You've got
physical touch, gifts, words of affirmation, acts of service, and quality time.
Yes. What would you say is your top 3?
Oh, I've done this test. My number 1 is quality time.
Okay.
My number 2 is physical touch.
Yep.
Which was interesting because I was very not about that shit up until like more recently. Like, and then I think my third one was, what were they again?
Words of affirmation.
No, gifts. I was thinking about all the
acts of service.
Probably acts of service because gifts was my last one.
Yeah.
Because I actually don't care about that stuff at all. I'm not someone who likes to get gifts. I'll give gifts, but I hate getting gifts, which has to do with
so number one is quality time, and that's so if you want quality time, like your love language is quality time, acts of service, and physical touch. Because you want those, are you able to give those just as easily, or is it more difficult for you?
So it's actually funny. So when you do that test, people when people kind of think of it as like, oh, these are my love languages. That's what I like. Yeah. Well, it's actually what you tend to do.
What you tend to do.
Yeah. So as much as I love quality time, I also give quality time. And then I'm a, physical touch person. I love to make sure that whoever I'm with feels loved by me. Whether it's us laying there and I'm rubbing your arm or scratching your head or whatever, picking your pimples, whatever. But, I do those things. Yeah. And so then acts of service would be giving them a massage or taking out their trash, doing things without them asking you to do it.
I cleaned up your place in the kitchen, you know what I mean? Put them in the dishwasher.
I folded your laundry and put it away.
But do you like that in return? If say you've made dinner and the guy's just like, hey, babe, I did the dishwasher, this, and does it make you appreciate mom? Be like, oh, I didn't ask you to do it.
Yes, but also something about me too is I've been such an independent person since I was 19 and had my kid. So it's I've been single mom practically since I was so young that I've never relied on somebody else in that way. So I'm so like, I'll just do it myself. So when it gets done for me, I'm like, that's nice.
That's like, thank you. But you're so used to doing it in nature that it's just could become second nature. And I think, do you think that can be, men can take advantage of that because that's what you're used to doing as well? So they can be like, oh, she's going to do it anyway, so I'll leave it out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But there's got to be a balance though where...
Well, she's got it.
Yeah.
But I also give off, I give off that
she got it.
I got it.
Okay, so if you've got it though, and stuff like this, what is it that you like, okay, if I'm going to do that, what do you need in return? You just said physical touch has become a recent thing for you. Like
I want us to like, you know, play a video game or go out to the beach and swim or, you know, go somewhere or do something. Or even if we're just at home doing nothing, I don't want to be at home doing nothing with someone who's literally just sitting on their phone the whole time, because then I'm like, what am I here
That's
for?
what we do in society. These phones are like, it's almost like smoking. Like we pick it up and we just scroll and like we don't even know we're doing it.
Yeah.
And we get so sucked into it. And I think out of all the love languages, number one should be communication, and it's not even on there.
Oh yeah.
But it's not even. Is that a love language? No, I think that is a love language. I mean, I just think it's a language in general.
Well, I mean, I think it just needs to be
I think it just needs to be the thing.
But yeah, I mean, that would be. But then there's also that 16 personalities quiz. Have you taken that?
What was that? So 16 personalities quiz.
16 personalities. Okay. That one's a good one.
So 16 personalities. All right.
That one tells a lot about a person too. Like, and just the way that you like are and go about things. So doing the 16 personalities quiz, you're just like, oh shit, okay. And I think it could
How many
play
personalities do you have?
one. No, it's not like how many personalities. It breaks down like what personality type you are.
Okay, so like
mine is advocate.
Okay.
But then it breaks down like the personality of an advocate, and then like how you work with others or things that you struggle with, or like vice versa. So like I always like when I get into relationships, I'm like, have you done this quiz? Because I want to know I want to know what your 16
did it tell you who you're compatible with, or
oh yeah,
okay,
oh yeah, it's such a cool little
but now but it's also like what's it called, like your zodiac signs. People are like, oh, you're a Gemini, I can't do that because this says this about a Gemini.
Like,
do you ever feel anyway about after doing that test of like, oh, after I've read this and you're this personality type, now I've got a predetermined assumption of who you are?
I think it helps better understand someone.
Would you still give that person a chance if you're like, I've read this, so let's see if you...
I don't know, if you're a Leo. Oh, I'm just kidding. No.
So Leos, guys, you guys have no chance.
Which is crazy because they're the most compatible with Libras. But like, I've never met a Leo that was compatible with me.
Really?
I'm like, wow. What?
You're like, what?
Stars, are you sure?
Yeah, I believe it's like judging a book by its cover. Like we can judge by its cover, but I always, even when people talk about other people, I'm like, okay, this person's this, I'll always give them a chance to make my own assumptions of that person. And I believe you treat people how you want to be treated.
Oh my God, that is literally. Did you get that from me?
No.
Because I say that quote to so many people. Treat people excuse me. I say you have to teach people how to treat you. That's what I say.
So you just lied and just a different thing. So it's the same thing. You have to teach people how to treat you. But it's the same thing. But teach people how to treat you, which is the same thing. I'm gonna treat you a certain way and expect to be treated the same way.
Yeah. So like with my sister, she would go to work. She worked at Starbucks, and people were treating her like ass, and I was like, baby, you fucking teach those people how to treat you. Yeah. Don't let them do that. Like, get a fucking backbone. And she's like not a confrontational person. Yeah. She kind of just would like internalize all these things, and then. But
people prey on weaknesses like that, whether it's management, whether it's a relationship or it's family. But like, if they see that, they're like, I found your weak spot.
But you notice that people respect people who have a backbone.
Oh yeah.
Because like when you put someone in their place at that time, in that moment, then they're just like, oh shit.
And do you think normally that preying on people's weaknesses comes from an insecurity of that person because it's control?
100%.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It and probably goes back to childhood.
Oh, of course.
Everything in your childhood.
Everything goes
back on to you as an adult.
Trauma from childhood, from growing up, is something that leads you as a person and will create who you are. But if you got trauma, you are always going to have that trauma in your mind, and that's going to come out.
And trauma is also comfortable. Oh yeah. I've noticed for some people, and that's why they don't ever like heal those.
And a lot of people can't talk about their trauma. That's why there's therapists. That's why there's this. That's why there's everything else. But it's it can mess up a lot of friendships and relationships because people cannot let go of that trauma. It's not saying people go through so many different traumatic experiences, and it's not saying that they have to let it go, but your partner has to understand that trauma. But you also have to work and know it's not that partner's fault, that trauma. They're trying to help you, and they're doing the best they can. But sometimes you gotta.
A lot of it falls on you.
Yeah, a lot of it falls on you.
Yeah.
And it can be difficult.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because people, like, I noticed that, like, people don't know how to ask for help.
Yeah.
People, don't either want help or don't know how to receive help.
Yeah.
So it's,
So a couple last questions. So you said, like, recently now you were such a giver in your relationships and everything like this, and you was more pleasing the man. Now, as you get on in life, if a man, instead of you being all about you, especially when you're intimate, if he takes control and he's like, look, takes his time and is all about you.
Yeah.
Is that something that is that something that's recent that you're just like, wow, this is different?
Yeah.
And would you? So advice to men on that front, knowing that what advice would you give to men from the thing that you've experienced to like your reaction to this? Like, oh, they took their time with me.
Listen. And pay attention, like, to your partner.
Yeah.
Like, it goes a long way. Listen to the things that they've struggled with, or listen to, and just being present in the moment too. Like, don't try to do things just to like hurry up and get off. Like, there's no rush really.
And so, would you say a woman appreciates a man that takes his time, not in and out of the bedroom, like in the bedroom takes his time and worships your whole body, then out of the bedroom listens to what you want and just
everything,
all is one.
All of it. Because I think that if you listen to them as a person in the bedroom,
it translates.
And so, you have to like just listen to them as a person and observe them as a person and like their personality, and like communication again is another huge thing. And then it all translates to the bedroom. And then, anything that she may like here, she'll like there too.
Yeah.
So like,
that's a good way to put it. So if someone's very giving and very like understanding and listens just out of personality before you've even had sex with them, you can kind of think, I kind of know how they're going to be in the bedroom because it translates. So it's going to translate. Someone that's
so if I'm talking about my insecurities, like as whatever I have with my body, they're gonna be like, okay, well now I know what to do.
But if you know some guys that's cocky and full of himself, oh, he's going to only care about himself in the bedroom. Yeah. You know what I mean? He's like, oh yeah, this, and it's very true. It's very true. Like, it really is like how you are as a person. And I can do this the same. Like if I am on set, I meet people and I just talk to them for 10 minutes, I get a good idea of how the sex is going to be, especially for my work. And I want to get familiar with them so they're comfortable, but I also need to talk to them to understand them as a person, to know how I'm going to translate on screen. Yeah. And the final thing I'm going to ask, we talked about birth control. So tell me just quickly about birth control for you.
Birth control. Well, I got on it at 19 after having a baby and was on it for 15 years consecutively.
And that's all you knew?
Yeah, because obviously I don't even remember what it was like to be a teenager because I didn't have sex till I was 18. So, and then...
Legal.
It was legal. And so I don't remember ovulation as a teenager. I just remember I had crazy periods and so much cramps that were debilitating and, didn't really get to experience adulthood off birth control. So being on it, I was, you're freaking drier than the Sahara Desert. You have no fucking sex drive. You are, I did not know.
So the one thing that's built to not get you pregnant actually lowers your libido, lowers your everything. So we have this tool to actually have sex more, really, in a way. Yeah. That actually lowers your sex drive and lowers your wetness and lowers your thing. The one thing that is made to not do the natural thing that we're supposed to do actually dampens the thing we want to do.
Yeah, and it's so horrible for you. Like, realistically, it's so bad for you. But that's like a whole nother rabbit.
So what happened? So you came off birth control.
So I got off of it last year after I took my breast implants out, which was like another huge thing for me. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to get off of it because like I want to give my body a break and kind of like see what happens. And so I got off of it, and it took about like a month for my body to really kind of like regulate. Like it was still kind of like, what the fuck is going on? And so I got off. I was the horniest person ever. Like I wanted to hump trees. I wanted to just do I just wanted to hump everything. I was like, oh my God, I'm just so horny. And then like I experienced like the ovulation time, and I was like,
so true ovulation time is true ovulation time of like 3 days before your period or after you're like.
So a couple days prior to ovulation days, call it aloe season.
Yeah, the aloe season.
The aloe season.
So what does that mean? What's aloe season exactly mean? What it says, it's like, it's those things when they actually see in the actual things where it pulls out and it's like a string.
Oh yeah, it's that.
And you've never experienced that before?
No, never, ever. Like I said, desert. Yeah. Dry, hot, just nothing. Wetness, not there, non-existent. So
an experience that just changed your mind and libido and like just.
Oh yeah, my sex drive like went up.
Do you wish you went off birth control years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I also feel like I feel like birth control probably put a lot of like damper into like the sexual part of my life too, because I was so.
Yeah.
So now that I'm not on it, I'm like, oh wow, this is great. Love it. Well, and also there's that study saying that like women who are on birth control, whoever they're with at that time, when they get off of it, they aren't even sexually attracted to their partner anymore. Yeah, you didn't hear about this?
No,
it's like a whole
explain that. Explain that.
Okay, so there's something about the hormones in the birth control that because they're not your natural hormones, what you're attracted to at that time, if you were to get off birth control and you're still with that person, you're not attracted to them anymore because now all your natural hormones come out and you might just be like totally disgusted with how that person smells, pheromones, like you're not attracted to that person anymore.
Wow.
It's like a whole study.
I never knew. So I could be with a girl I could meet her on birth control, this and this, and I'm like, yeah, great, I can put babies in you without putting babies in you. Yeah. And then she can get off and be like,
ew.
I don't like you.
Yeah.
What?
No, yeah, it's a thing.
But what if I meet them and they're not on birth control, then they get on birth control?
Same thing.
So I could so if I'm with a girl who's on birth or not on birth control and they get on birth control and she still loves me both ways, it's fine. I'm doing a good job.
Yeah.
Wow, I never knew that. I never knew that the hormones in birth control. And that's the new thing. I never knew that. Like German, some people might not know that either, and that's something that's really interesting. Watch all these girls be like, birth control. Get it off. They watch this podcast. So many divorces.
So there was this lady on Instagram that like really dove into that, and she was saying like a lot of the time that people like who like when you're on birth control, get off of it before you marry someone, because like if you marry that person and then you get off birth control, you're not gonna like that person again. It was like a whole thing, and I didn't know this, and my recent ex was like worried about that. He's like, I'm scared that if you get off of it, you're not gonna be attracted to me anymore. I was like, no, that's not gonna happen.
What happened?
It happened.
Oh, oh my God.
It happened.
So you're living proof of this happened.
Oh yeah. Like, and it's crazy because like the things that I wasn't attracted to before, I'm super attracted to now.
And the things that you were attracted to.
Like just like certain people or like, well,
that's your natural self, isn't it? That's what your natural body is craving now without the birth control.
Yeah. Right? And I was like, oh my God, the things I wasn't into, I'm so into now. Or like that guy, I would never be into that dude.
But now I am.
But like now I am.
It's aloe season. Every time I put aloe, if I go out in the sun, I'm going to think of you.
Oh shit, yeah. Where? Just on my skin.
But no, I hope it was so good having you on here. I know we talked a lot, and it's great. Like we just keep going. Any last words to say to people? Or I think we talked about a lot of stuff.
God, no.
We talked about a lot, but no, I definitely learned a lot.
We're like, we could go on for hours.
Yeah, we could. Me and you can go for hours.
We could really go down deep. Like deep, but like that could take like.
That's going to be our 24-hour podcast that we and her are going to do. We'll just sit there and talk 24 hours.
Can we?
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
If you guys want to see that, let's do it.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Yes.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is obviously real name Hope. But you guys know about Christy Fox. I'm Chris Hodgson, known as Quinton James. Thank you for tuning into What Women Want. Thank you, Hope, for coming on here. It was amazing.
Of course.
And I definitely, every time I do this, I learn something. And this is like, this is why I do it. I've definitely, birth control. Okay.
Birth control, cool. I'm telling you.
And I hope that a lot of people listen and take the advice. That's what we're here to do. So thank you guys. Yeah. Thank you, Hope.
All right. I love you.
I love you.
Daddy.
Oh my gosh, should I get down on one knee now?